Hey everyone, my name is Jackie Kirchner. I am a registered dietitian and I am a fellow runner, and I am here to answer all of your questions about running and nutrition and how to fuel your body properly so that you can feel good before, during, and after your runs. Yay! So today we're going to talk about sports drinks, and I have a ton of options here that we're going to talk about. So let's get going. So there's tons of different sports drinks on the market, right? You've got Gatorade, you've got Noon, there's Powerade, there's Tailwind and Scratch. People sometimes use coconut water. There's so many different options that it can be a little bit overwhelming, right? And then not only that, there's like, do you take it before a run? Should you drink them during a run? Should you drink them after a run? Do you need to even drink them at all? Do you need one kind of sports drink at one type of run? And do you need a different type of sports drink during another type of run? Should you practice with what's on the course? Like, all of these questions are super overwhelming. There's so many options. No wonder people are like, "Ooh, what do I do?" So let's try breaking down sports drinks into two main categories just to try and make it easier for ourselves to try and understand the difference between all the different options out there, right? So one of the main categories is going to provide you both carbohydrates and electrolytes. So an example of this is going to be Gatorade, and another example is going to be Tailwind. So options like this provide carbohydrates, generally as some type of sugar, and electrolytes, mostly sodium chloride because that's what we lose as sweat, but also some potassium, some magnesium, and calcium as well. Scratch is another option, regular Powerade. There's so many different options out there. These are just two examples. So that's one category that provides both carbohydrates and electrolytes. Another category provides mostly just electrolytes with none or very few carbohydrates. So I have some options for that as well. So one of them is this You Can Hydrate. So this option provides just electrolytes. Powerade Zero is another option that's out there on the market. Similarly, we've got Propel. Noon is another example of this, and one that's newly out on the market is something like Element. So these options that I just mentioned all provide mostly just electrolytes and either no carbs at all or very little. So we need electrolytes because we lose more than just water when we sweat, right? We lose salt, we lose potassium, we lose calcium and magnesium. All of that is lost in our sweat. So mostly salt, but everything else too. If we were to rehydrate using only water and never get electrolytes from foods or drinks or anything else, then we're gonna put ourselves at risk for muscle cramps. And also we're not going to rehydrate properly. So that can really throw off our labs and make us feel really lousy. So we need to replenish the electrolytes that we lose in our sweat, especially if you're sweating a lot. Like if you're out there for a 3-hour run, training for a marathon, and it's hot and humid, you're gonna be sweating a lot and you're gonna lose a lot of salt and a lot of other electrolytes. So I wanna make a note about salt. So salt is kind of a bad guy sometimes in the media, like you should be on a low salt diet and too much salt is dangerous and all that stuff. And that can be true, like certain health conditions, absolutely, it's important to limit your salt. But if you're out there on a humid day and you're losing like literally liters of sweat, you're losing a ton of salt. In fact, on average, you lose around 800 milligrams of sodium for every liter of sweat that you lose. So if you're not replacing that, you're not going to rehydrate properly and you're going to feel like crap. So having some sort of electrolyte drink that provides some salt is going to be a good thing. So as an example here, I have Element. This has 1,000 milligrams of sodium. It also has some potassium and magnesium. It's flavored. And in this one, this is just an electrolyte option. So there's only 2 carbohydrate grams in the whole thing. And you're supposed to mix this with anywhere from 16 to 32 ounces of water, depending on your taste. So if you handle a lot of salt, you could do 16 ounces. But if you're someone that's like, oh, that's really, really salty, I'd probably go closer to 32 ounces with something like this. But they're all different. Like all the different brands have different amounts of sodium. So if you're someone that loses a lot of sweat and loses a lot of salt in their sweat and you know that, then choosing a saltier electrolyte option would be beneficial for you. So another good thing about salt in our sports beverages is that it makes us thirsty. So if you're losing a lot of sweat, you're losing a lot of water and you need to replace it. So if you drink something that has some salt or eat something that has some salt, you're going to be thirsty and therefore you're going to drink more. So it promotes thirst, so you replace what you've lost in your sweat. But not only that, it helps with fluid retention so that you can actually like hang on to it and absorb the water that you're actually drinking. So why carbohydrates and why all the sugar? Isn't that like terrible for us? Well, there's actually a reason for all of this, but let's take a look first. Do these actually have sugar? So this is Tailwind, and the first ingredient, this is a powder by the way, the first ingredient is dextrose and the second ingredient is sucrose. So yes, these are both types of sugar. If we compare that to another option that has both carbohydrates and electrolytes, this Gatorade, the first ingredient in this one is actually water because it's pre-mixed for you. And the second ingredient is sugar and the third ingredient is dextrose, which again is just a type of sugar. So yes, they're full of sugar. And would this be the best option if you were on a Netflix binge? No, probably not. But when you're running, your body is using sugar. It's using stored carbohydrates, and that's what it uses most for quick energy. It kind of gets the fire going and like keeps you going. It's very quickly absorbed and you can use it very fast. So we do need some sugar, especially on certain types of runs, to help keep us going. So as runners, we do need some simple carbs sometimes. So we store carbohydrates as glycogen in our muscles and our liver, but we don't store unlimited amounts. So if you're going to be running for a very long distance, or if you're going to be running at a very intense pace, you're going to be relying on a lot of your stored carbohydrates. If you don't have enough, or if you're running for a really long time and you get low, you're going to like bonk or hit the wall, and then you're going to like run out of energy. And because carbohydrates are digested very quickly and they're delivered as energy very fast to your muscles, that helps you when you're running. Other types of fuel don't do that quite as fast, and so they're not quite as efficient. So having some sugars is going to help make sure that your gas tank is full so that you can keep running, so that you don't hit the wall. So there's another reason there might be carbohydrates in a sports beverage. Carbohydrates, a little bit of carbohydrates actually helps promote gastric emptying. What the heck does that mean, Jackie? What is gastric emptying? So basically that just means it helps your stomach empty faster, which means there will be less sloshing. So if you've ever been on a run and had the sloshy feeling, you know that it's not fun. So having a little bit of carbohydrates will help that out because it helps your stomach empty faster. Not only that, when it gets to your small intestines, you absorb it a lot faster. So not only does it go through your stomach faster, you absorb it faster, and then you can get to the energy even quicker. All right, Jackie, got it. There's carbs, there's no carbs, there's electrolytes. So which one do I actually choose? It's still so confusing. All right, so let's decide which one you're gonna go for. All right, so let's say it's before a run. So if you're trying to decide what you need. If it's first thing in the morning, or if it's been several hours since you've ate or drank anything and you can't stomach the idea of some solid food or a small snack with some carbohydrates before you head out on your run, then a sports drink that has both carbohydrates and electrolytes is going to be helpful for you. It'll make sure that you have plenty of energy to get through your run without hitting the wall, and you have plenty of energy and feel good. However, if you had a snack within an hour or two or a meal within a couple of hours and you're showing up well hydrated, you might not need any of it. So it really kind of depends on when you're running and what you've recently eaten. So if you're running somewhere between 60 and 75, maybe even up to 90 minutes, and if you had a good snack before your run, then having a sports drink that has electrolytes is not a bad call. Then we've got long runs. So I'm thinking like over 90 minutes here. So regardless, it's going to be a good idea to have some electrolytes. But whether or not you want carbohydrates kind of depends on how you want to fuel your run. So you're going to need some carbohydrates on a long run because eventually you're going to run out. So if you plan on using gels or chews or real food on the run, then you could get away with just water and some electrolytes, or eating foods that actually have some electrolytes, like something salty or something with some potassium, like pretzels and banana. Or if you don't want to have any of that stuff, but you still need your carbohydrates because it's a long run, then a sports drink like Gatorade or Tailwind or Scratch that provides both carbohydrates and electrolytes can be a great idea. So after a run, you need carbohydrates, protein, fluids, and electrolytes. So a sports drink can provide 2 or 3 out of 4 of those things, which is a great option. So if you want to have a sports drink after your run, that can be something that you do. However, regardless of whether you choose one with carbohydrates or without, it's still going to be important to have a snack that has both carbs and protein, because none of these options that I've mentioned so far provide any protein. And for the rest of the time, like I said, if you're sitting on the couch or on a Netflix binge or just working at your computer, water is going to be your friend. If you want a little flavor, I would say add a little flavor, but there's really no need for something like Gatorade or Tailwind or Scratch. All right, runners, thank you for tuning in. I hope I helped you out. I hope I answered your questions. I hope you learned something new, and I hope the next time that you go to look at sports drinks or think about buying them, you have a little bit more direction and you know what you're looking for depending on your situation and your goals. What questions do you have about sports drinks? Let me know in the comments below, and I'm happy to answer them or make another video in the future. And if there's any topics that you want to hear about when it comes to running and nutrition, let me know below there too. Thanks, everyone. All right, everyone, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel. I plan on updating this regularly. You can also follow me on Instagram. I am at fuelbetter.runfaster, and you can follow me on my website. It's www.jackiekirchnernutrition.com. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you later. Happy running.